I will not only be telling you, but actually doing it. Kind of what it's about, isn't it? He's been all over the southwest and Wales and places like that, and he doesn't pay. There's 3 fish and chip shops in Padstow. How can we be expecting these holiday parks and things like that to still maintain them? People say that they are giving up because van life and owning a camper van is just too expensive. But I disagree with that, and we're going to discuss why and introduce something that you haven't actually been asking for. A project that may help quite a few of you, including myself, because yes, I am actually selling my van. My lovely van is going to be going, and I'm going to explain why. Let's get into that and the discussion of camper vans and campsites, as both seemingly the cost does cause a bit of a problem. There's no arguing that van prices have increased over recent times, as I've explained in previous videos. Done quite a few videos on that, explained the reasons why they've gone up and my thoughts on it. But we don't need a brand new van, do we? We don't need to be spending £60,000 on a van. I mean, look at these beautiful views which we've got. I mean, it doesn't matter what you drive. It doesn't matter what you have. I mean, looking around here, we've got a Transit over there. We've got, is that a Vivaro? We've got some Vivaros. We've got some Fords. We've got another Transporter over there. And then looking around the car park here, which is quite empty today, you know, you've got lots and lots of other vans. And none of them are costing mega money. They don't have to be costing mega money. You know, whatever we drive, whatever we have, we can still have these views. So let's start talking about some of the prices of vans, and also how you can spend less on a van is coming soon. And don't you worry, those are fantastic videos. I'm going to be explaining a little bit more shortly. But yeah, this is my van. My van is going to be going soon. Anyway, let's start talking about the campsites. Because in the comments, somebody once said that campsites used to be cheap as chips, but they're not anymore. Let's go and find out. Cheap as chips. Well, that saying is probably a bit old now, because chips are not cheap anymore. I'm here in Padstow. There's 3 fish and chip shops in Padstow, but which is the best one? We've got Rick Stein's, we've got Chips Ahoy, and we've got another one. And I'm gonna have some chips now. So just walking out the narrow streets of Padstow, and I've had my fish and chips. And yeah, kind of the point is, now I've got an ice cream. When you go to Padstow, you've got to have an ice cream, haven't you? But the point of it all is chips used to be cheap, but now they're like 4 or 5 quid a bag. You know, they're not cheap anymore. And now they're at campsites because of all those increased costs. So when people say they used to be cheap as chips, yeah, they were. But chips used to be cheap as chips, but they're not anymore. See, one of the beauties of having a camper van is just kind of getting up and being in places like this. And yeah, I know you can stay in hotels, but generally when you stay in a hotel, you're not really normally by the beach like this. Look, and there's lots of other transporters over there who can concur with what I'm saying. Just noticed I look like I'm sponsored by Yeti, but I can absolutely assure you that I'm not. I paid for both of these, but they're great products. I like them, so I'm going to continue to buy their stuff. Seen loads while I'm down here. Obviously in Cornwall, if you've ever been down here, you'll have seen the abundance of surf shops, and I always take a trip to the ones down here in Perran, but always Anne's Cottage. And I went there the other day, and when you go in Anne's Cottage, there's a distinctive smell about it, and that's the air fresheners, which they always try and sell you when you're at the checkout. Anyway, I mean, look at this. It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? But this is just one of the pleasures which you have. Now, if I'd stayed in a hotel somewhere, then I wouldn't really be doing this. I just love it. It's, what is it now, about 7:30 in the morning, something like that. There's quite a few people out, actually. You might have, if you've ever been to Perran, you'll certainly know about the watering hole. Very popular destination. In fact, yesterday, when the sun was out, that was absolutely heaving. Really nice place to stay. But I'm going to explain in a minute where I'm staying this weekend, because I'm not staying in my camper van. And there is a very good reason for that. The problem which I've got, it's not a problem, don't get me wrong, is I've got a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old. So you try putting those two in a camper van. Now, with a camper van with a pop top, 13 and a 15-year-old aren't really going to want to be going in there, because they're just too old and too big. So what we've normally been doing is I've got the setup in the back where I've got the bed, which is fine, and then we've got the awning. Well, on certain campsites, you're not actually allowed awnings because of the rules. Some of them you're not allowed pop tents. So it was just going to be an impossibility, and my daughter really wanted to come to where we are. So yeah, that was just kind of one of the things which we had to do. Just had to stay in at something else. But I shall come on to that in a moment. This is where we're staying. Perran Sands in Perran, because this is where my daughter wanted to stay. She really, really likes coming to places like this. But it says tenting and touring there, but actually awnings aren't allowed. So we weren't actually allowed to bring the awning and attach it to the campervan. So we couldn't sleep inside the campervan and then have the awning next to it for the kids to sleep in. So we got a static, 2-bedroom static, so they are in the same room actually. They're having to sleep next to each other, but it's still here. It's still where my daughter wanted to be, and that's kind of what it's about, isn't it? Children aren't children for long. You know, before we know it, they're certainly not going to be wanting to come away with us. Well, in fact, sometimes I don't think they want to come away with us now, but they do grow up so quick, so you kind of want to give them the best experiences which you possibly can, and my daughter wanted to come here, so yeah, so we have done that. But yeah, we need a bigger van. I can't afford a bigger van. I do need a car for work now. I can't keep driving my van, so yeah, so I need to make a change. But that is something which is going to be coming to the channel very soon. Watch this space. So yeah, so I need a bigger van, and give me a moment, I'm going to tell you. But can you see that van there, that motorhome? I'm not going to go too close, but that has got its thermal blinds on. So I don't think that has actually, you might be able to pay to get here. I don't actually know, but I'm guessing it's not going to be as expensive as it is inside. Not saying that Haven's expensive, because actually what you get in it and what you can do is actually quite good. Look at this view though. This is where Perran Sands, the view is got. Just a short walk from where your accommodation is, and it is absolutely beautiful. I think it works out. I just had a look for touring and camping. So if you was going to be coming in your camper van, which a few people have, I'll show you some of their vans in a moment. I think it works out about 45, 50 quid a night, which, yes, it isn't the cheap ones, you know, it isn't the £5 to £10 ones or something like that, but you do get a lot for it. You know, you've got the easy access to all the restaurants, not that that matters, but you've got obviously the arcade, you've got the games, you've got basically lots of different activities which you can choose to do. You've obviously got access to the swimming pool. In the summer, you've got outdoor swimming pool, you've got a water river, not rapids, what do you call them? Lazy river, that's the one. You've got a lazy river, football pitches, play parks. They've got the Surf Bay restaurant, which has got a transporter T2 in it. Absolutely love it. I actually ate a meal in there last night, and I think I had the char grill chicken salad or something like that. Really, really nice. Absolutely beautiful it was. Really, very, very nice, very tasty. But yeah, this is the view. So it's a walk down to the beach. Takes maybe 5-10 minutes to get down to the beach. Oh, look at those sets of waves. No surprise that there's surfers out there this morning. And yeah, it's just a different kind of campsite. I'm on my rider testing it out on the dunes. I absolutely love this bike. It's obviously okay going down. We'll see what it's like going back up them in a moment. But yeah, it's great because come down these dunes and then over these dunes, you've just got that beautiful view over there of the Perran Sea. See, look at that. Other side of the dunes. But then wherever you go in Cornwall, it's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? It's just a lovely, lovely county in this wonderful UK which we have. You know, with a camper van, you can just explore it all. You can stay in one place one day and then stay in another the next day. But let's just carry on down here, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about the campsites. Yeah, well, it managed to get down all right. Not quite sure what it's going to be like getting back up, because it's very dry and very deep actually. I think I'm going to have to push it up. But just look at this. It is absolutely beautiful. Now, campsites like this, they don't come cheap. And I don't mean for us as consumers to actually be paying to stay in them. I'm talking about the upkeep of them. You know, we've obviously got the energy bills, the gas, the electric, which has increased significantly in recent times. We've got the water, the disposal of the water. We've got the waste. You know, how much waste do we use when we're actually at these campsites? You know, we're eating, we're drinking and things such as that. All the containers, the packaging, all goes to waste. And somebody's obviously got to collect that. Commercial waste isn't cheap. It costs a lot of money to remove commercial waste. And then you've obviously got the activities. So we talk about the children's play parks. Well, children's play parks, it isn't like we're in the 80s or the 90s anymore. You know, these have got to be inspected extremely regularly. They're going to be inspected every single day by a member of public. They've got to be inspected and maintained by ROSPA annually, which again doesn't come cheap. And then anything which has to be done to rectify any problems which they've got. Then you've got swimming pools. Well, swimming pools, to actually heat swimming pools to a temperature which is comfortable for what we want, it doesn't come cheap. I mean, even Nuffield health centres, they've got rid of a lot of the hot tubs and jacuzzis and things like that because they're just so expensive to run. And how much does it cost to actually become a member of Nuffield Health? It costs a heck of a lot of money. And if they can't afford them, you know, how can we be expecting these holiday parks and things like that to still maintain them and then us still only pay 10 quid a night? It's not going to happen. That's why the parks where the money to stay at them is a little bit more expensive, you know, 45, 50 quid, like I've said for here. For what you get, I don't think it's particularly bad. Yes, and I know you wouldn't want to be doing that all the time, but not a lot of people do. You know, there's some amazing places where you can stay for 5, 10, 15 pound a night. I mean, not far from here, you know, Tintagel, King Arthur's car park, you know, that's a popular one, which, is it 5 quid a night, 6 quid a night? I can't remember. There's lots of other free locations around. Places like Park for Night will give you good ideas of where to stay without actually paying for them in a lot of cases. And then you've got other ones which are 10 quid, 15 quid a night, and they contain your shower block and toilets and things like that. And that's another thing, staff. You know, the cost of staff, you know, we've all seen that the minimum wage has increased, national insurance has increased. Everything is going up, you know, and people to be maintaining these parks, it costs a lot of money. So we can't be expecting to get them for free. Is it expensive? No, I think it's value for money. And it's just being careful. If you don't think that 45, 50 quid a night is value for money for what you're getting, then pick somewhere else. Pick somewhere where it is free, because they are available. Nemo's Campers Adventures, he stays in so many amazing places, and I don't think he ever spends a penny. You know, he supports the local communities and he'll go and eat in restaurants and things like that, but I don't think he pays to stay in these amazing places. He's been all over the southwest and Wales and places like that, and he doesn't pay. You know, you could do the same as well, but just do it respectfully. You have to obviously respect your environment. You know, take photos, leave with only memories, but take all your rubbish with you. Don't leave anything behind. Be respectful. You know, we have to be respectful to the environment. I mean, I've actually walked down, well, I've cycled down here. I've actually cycled down here. I've not seen a single piece of rubbish on my way down. Now, is that because people are just respecting it, or have they got a good clean-up policy? There are some great spots in this vicinity. On Park for Night, you'll be able to see some of them, but there's also a few secret ones, which I don't even know about myself. Dubbed Out community, every time a post goes on there where somebody's staying something lovely, somewhere's lovely, people jump on it, find out where it is, and then it just gets really crowded. So people are now starting to keep things a little bit quieter. So yeah, if you do find a spot, just be careful how many other people you tell, because that nice, quiet, secret spot which you found might not be secret anymore. There's a place where I always like to go in the summer, and that's Hawker's Cove. And it's not actually called Hawker's Cove. It's everybody calls it Hawker's Cove, but it's not. It's called something else. And a couple of years ago, it was really quiet. And then as people started to find out about it, it became a lot more popular. So yeah, these places do tend to, now with social media, do tend to get more crowded. Anyway, let's carry on. Look at that nice van there. Dubbed Out community, nice one, isn't it? And actually, I've just walked through the touring place, and there are quite a few awnings up. There's actually some really nice camper vans. Not quite sure if you can see, but there's a nice bay leaf green one there. There's a Ravenna blue. I'll try and get a picture of it in a minute. But they've got awnings up, And I didn't think you could have awnings. Well, it was actually categorically told, no, can't sleep in awnings. So are they just doing it sneakily? I don't know. But look at these. These is an option. If you didn't want to stay in a static, you've got things like that you can stay in. And then obviously you've got a few more down there. So yeah, you've got options for staying in places. But because I couldn't sleep in an awning, or I was told that I couldn't, then I haven't done that. So yeah, stayed in a static. Bit disappointed if they're going to be sleeping in the awnings. But that is another option down there, a roof tent. And that's something which I'm going to be investigating this year because I really want to do that. But toilet blocks, now this is what we talk about costs, because toilet blocks like that, they don't come cheap. You're probably looking at, I don't know, it's a good couple of £100,000 to have a toilet block like that built. And it's obviously the maintenance, the staff to clean it and things like that. So all these costs do kind of add up to, why you've got to pay for spending it on a campsite such as this. That isn't just a block, a brick block built. It's got warm showers, hot showers, toilets. They're cleaned and kept all nice and tidy. It isn't just a hut or a hole to pee in. You have choices of places where you can pitch up. Do you need or want all those extra facilities, or do you just need a basic place to stay? If you're waking up like a morning to today, like today, you might want something a little bit more. You can park for free, and you can park for tens of pounds a night. But what you get for your money will absolutely vary. We will all value services and prices paid differently. How much do you value a warm shower, waste disposal, water and electric? Add in the use of a swimming pool, sports courts, maybe indoor table tennis, darts. Is that worth a lot more to you? Whatever you're willing to pay for yourself, some might not want to pay at all. We're all completely different. Some people don't want any facilities, but they just want a safe place to stay. I'm sure you've seen many YouTube videos and articles. We were attacked, we had to move, etc. But having seen how people behave in the wild, I could see why some people could be annoyed. I know people who like to wild camp, and they've never had any problems, so I don't think it's as frequent as sometimes you might think it is. But being respectful to others and the environment which you're surrounded by certainly is going to help. But another aspect of it is alcohol. Now, if someone parks in somewhere which isn't a dedicated sleeping area and they've had a drink and then they're asked to move on, then that could be a big problem. If you're parking somewhere where you're not meant to be, you've not got permission, etc., then you could potentially be asked to move on. And if you have had alcohol, then, like I say, that could then be a problem. So if you are going to be drinking, then it's probably very, very wise to actually go somewhere where you do pay money and you do pay for the services of actually being able to stay somewhere, and then you're not going to get asked to move on. Are campsites and park-ups expensive? No, they don't have to be. But if you're looking at sites with all those extra facilities which I'm talking about, then obviously you are going to be paying more. Also, some of the sites also have dynamic pricing, like the hotels do, so the prices can fluctuate. So if a lot of people are viewing it or something's happened, then the prices obviously can rise and fall. So do be aware of that. But lots of people find out about places to stay on social media and various sites, like I mentioned, Park for Night. You can see the places, the facilities that they offer, the reviews that people have had and what they charge. And looking around the north coast of Cornwall, there are some lovely places to stay, including facilities that don't cost the earth. Like Tintagel Castle, King Arthur's car park, is £6. Now that certainly is not expensive. Plan properly and you can find stunning locations far cheaper than most hotels. Now onto campervans, and you don't need that brand new van like I've spoken about before. I would love a brand new van, as I'm sure you would too, but I can't afford one. But regardless of the make, the condition, the age, whatever your van is, we can all still stay in the same places. Looking around the site here, there was a big variation in different campers, manufacturers, brands, ages, and also conditions. I saw some more budget-friendly vans, and that's something that many of you have been asking for. So that is exactly what I'm going to be bringing you. We all have different financial circumstances, and yet I am selling my van partly due to financial reasons, and as such, I can only going to be able to have a budget van. Along with cooler commercials, I'm going to be showing you how we can buy a van cost effectively and turn it into a camper. We'll be showing you several different options and helping you with ideas how you can create your own. And I also think that that's going to involve a trip to IKEA. I will not only be telling you, but actually doing it, taking a panel van to a camper, and also lots of other things in between. We're going to be looking at the various different aspects of what you need, why you need it, or not, as the case may be, in creating a camper van that suits a wide range of requirements. That is just a small part of what I've actually got planned. The massive plan, which I've mentioned before, is still in development, so do subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any of that. The point is that van life, or the camper van lifestyle, is not too expensive. The cheapest van at the moment on Auto Trader is about £2,000, and there's going to be a lot of cheaper ones on other market sites, your Facebooks, your eBays, your Gumtrees and things like that. It doesn't need to cost the earth, and we together will investigate this in much more detail. Let me know if there's anything specifically that you would like to see. For now, have a look here how this chap made a big mistake by not researching his new van properly. Thanks for watching, take care, and I hope to see you soon.